babies, today I'm going to try my hand at Italian pot roast. Now, first of all, my main thing that I do is my pot, of course, and my knife. I have a pot roast IPB spring trim from Price Right. Just showing you so you know exactly what I do. And here's my pot roast in the pan. Ooh, shoot. And I stab it. I take my knife and I stick and stab all the way through. On the bottom side, on the back side, all over. Just stab, stab, stab. You know, like I'm stabbing it up. I do this to make my seasonings soak all the way through. Not just be on top, because when you season meat, it usually just stay where you put it at, on the meat. I like my meat to be seasoned all the way through. So for me, I season it everywhere. Over the bone, under the bone, round the bone. Just season, season, season. I pick up the fat. That's what you hear now. Me stabbing the meat and picking up the fat. When the knife going through a thick amount of meat, it has this scratchy sound to it. I even stab through where the fat is at, because it's attached to the meat. So now, I have my meat all stabbed up. I don't know if you can tell, but it's holes, holes, holes. Of course, it's gonna come back together where you wouldn't see the holes, but you know they're there. And of course, I got my peppers and onions that I cut up from the summertime when I went to the farmer's market. You know, that's something I do all the time. I like to put enough in there. I like a lot of peppers and onions. So for me, I put a lot in. And the idea of this recipe came from my godchild's mother, Shay. So I have to reference her. and her cousin Von Trees, which will be my age soon. So you'll see a lot of her in my videos. So, you know, I have to give reference where reference is due. Okay. They use a lot of peppers. I mean, a little peppers. I use a lot, as you see, peppers and onions. And then I use my trusty, faithful seasoning. They use seasoning. Sometimes they use this, but they use their own seasonings. But you know, mine is turmeric and onion powder and garlic powder and black pepper and crushed red pepper and sazon and adobo all-purpose seasoning. And then I shake it up in here. That works good for me. And what I like to do after I season my meat all the way through, I like to let it set so the seasonings will go further down in the meat, and then I'll sometimes respice it again. But since I'm hungry, I'm just going to do a real good spicing right now. And then I'm going to slide it over on the back and spice up the fat. So, there I have it. As you see, the fat is spiced up. And the reason I like to spice up the fat, because the fat is cooking on the bottom. And then there's my top and sides. So the fat is cooking on the bottom, and some of the peppers and onions have fell off the roast into the pan. So I like for my peppers and onions to be seasoned and spiced up as well as the meat. And I think I'll put a little more peppers and onions in. Going to the farmer's market using double up tokens like I've told you before, and then taking the time out where most young people won't, but taking out the time to chop up my peppers and onions works for me. I know it's a lot of work at first, and I know it takes a lot of time, but at least I had peppers from summer to summer. I mean, I might go out and buy a sleeve of peppers from Aldi's with the green, the yellow, and the red in it, or the orange every once in a while. But I don't have to, because one sleeve really don't do it for me. Because I love my peppers and onions. Anyhow, I'm using some Italian seasoning. No, this is not Kraft. This one right here is priced right. I used half a bottle, because it comes in a 16-ounce bottle. So when I use half the bottle, I put the rest in here, because that's a warning sign to me that you need to get some more because it's running out. I do a lot of things that are warning signs when it's stuff that I like. So I'm squeezing the Italian dressing on there. The idea comes from Shay and Von Trees because they put it on their chicken. And I do that too now because it helps to make the chicken juicier. You know, because sometimes chicken can dry out when you're cooking it. So anything to make something juicier. So I'm trying it with this pork roast. And being that I dropped the holes in, I'm even putting some on the back where the fat is. Being that I put the holes in, that'll make the seasoning and the Italian dressing stick more to the meat. Because that's what I want. I want everything to stick to the meat. Now, they barely put any water in their pan. I'm not going to put a lot. I'm going to put like maybe a third of water in here because, one, I like the juice of the Italian seasoning. It's not juice, but you know what I mean. I like the seasonings. I know the peppers and the onions is going to give water, but I just want a little bit more water. I don't want to boil it. I want to bake it. So I want the oil to adhere to the meat like it has. I want it to be enough water and oil in the pan so when it's cooking, because I'm going to put it on like 450, when it's cooking it won't burn up. So this is what it looks like so far. Onions, peppers, seasonings, and my Italian seasoning. And then when it cooks and it gets done, I'll show you. So be patient with me. I love you. I'll be back soon.